If you're ready to take back control of your health, you're in the right place. Welcome to Awaken Wellness with me, Tanya Candy, registered nurse and health coach. Now, I'm not your typical nurse. I consider myself divorced from traditional healthcare. I broke free of the sick care system in 2019 when I realized that the root cause to my sickness, my autoimmune disease, and my chronic pain was me. If you're ready for truth, for clarity, for honesty in a tough, love, compassionate way, I'm the coach for you. Join me while we dig in to our root causes of sickness and disease. Good morning, everybody. It is Nurse Tanya from Awaken Wellness. I am not your average nurse. I consider myself divorced from healthcare. I am up this morning. I've been up early. I'm out for a walk, so I figured I would take you with me. Hopefully it's not too much wind or it's barely a breeze. Hopefully I'm not breathing too hard. I've got just so much on my mind that I really found to be shareable. I got to show you beautiful countryside, my view. I've been really doing my darndest to get out and do a little walk in the morning. I like to listen to some podcasts. I've got quite a few creators that I like to follow. I've really been doing some business stuff. But what is on my mind this morning, of course, is parasites, right? That is what is always on my mind. This is our fair week. And so, yes, I have a booth, and yesterday was the first day. And it went good. It was pretty slow. The first day usually is. But Tuesday, so day before, was a full moon. So last night, it really still looks full. It's not technically the full moon. I have been personally parasite cleansing for a year. It's been a year or better. And when I do my bioenergy tests, there's still some there. And last night, 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:13, the witching hour, them dirty buggers had me awake. And I'll get some kind of that heaviness in my legs, a little bit of cramping. So I got up, took some Fenben, took some Parafor. That was all I had on hand. Took some binders. Then I thought, well, I'm up, right? And I felt hot and sticky anyway. It's really humid out. And so I just decided to do a detox bath. So I got just what I had on hand. You never know what's going to go in the bathtub. Depends on what's in the cupboard. I had baking soda. I did about a half a cup of baking soda, about half a cup of Epsom salt, half a cup of bentonite clay, and 2 scoops of carboxy. So that's a fulvic acid binder. So I call that a dirt bath. It looks really dirty. And I soaked probably, and I had some anti-candida oil that I threw in there too. So I soaked for about 20 minutes. For me, like some people when they do a dirt bath soak, they'll really see a lot of floaters and stuff in the water. I have never had that when I do a detox soak. When I first started doing detox soaks, I would do the raindrop soak. So that's with Young Living Essential Oils, the raindrop kit, and at least a cup of magnesium oil or salt, and put drops of oil in my bath with the magnesium. And there I would always get, because that's clear, you can see, there I would always get a lot of particles, like not big enough to like touch and put your finger on, but big enough that you can see them, in your bathtub, the lower spots toward the drain or the edges, you could see the particles, soot. It's kind of like soot that comes out of you. But in the dirt bath, it's too the fulvic acid is too dark. You don't see things like that. But I've seen people post pictures of like worms, so I wasn't brave enough to do it. There is but they say it's really good for kids to get hookworms. Hookworms are those ones, or pinworms, sorry, not hookworms, pinworms. Those are those little anal ones that kids really easily get, and then they pass them because they pick their butt, pick their nose, touch other stuff. So they really will blow through daycares. So anyway, there's this thing that you can do where you feed the kid like for a week as much garlic as you can get in them, and then you put them in a bath and put a little milk in the water, and the parasites like the milk. So note to self, if you really love milk or you really crave milk, maybe it's the parasites that live in you that love and crave milk. Just a yucky thought, right? So anyway, this milk bath, you put it in the bath and the parasites want to come out and feed on that milk. So like they will actually exit the body and be in the water. And a lot of times I don't have milk in my house, but I did today, and I knew I did because my mom had been there and she bought cream for her coffee. So a lot of times I'm not even tempted by this thought because I don't have milk in my house. But this morning I was already wet and I didn't want the extra mess, and I was just really not brave enough to test that theory to see if any pinworms would come out of me. There's a lot I can do. I can look at poop in the toilet like a pro nurse, but I just wasn't ready for that. So maybe another time. But I'd like to think after a year of doing parasite cleanses that I don't have those kind of parasites. I think what I have left, I've always had really bulky, dense muscles, and my structure and stuff has changed a lot over the year that I've been doing the parasite cleanse. Even in high school, I had bulky, dense muscles and would really get crampy easy. And yeah, magnesium for sure. I know that. I take magnesium, but it's not that. It's different. I had a lot of my adult life. I'm in remission, healing, fibromyalgia. There again, that's parasite bullshit. It's not whatever medical wants you to think it is. So anyway, I still think mostly for me, I'm dealing, some protozoa shows up in my scans, and still flukes, and liver probably, pancreas I think for sure, because my body is just not wanting to make digestive enzymes yet. So that is my morning. Now I'm out on this walk. I didn't feel like it, because I didn't sleep. And my day was long yesterday. My day's going to be long today. It's going to be long the next day and the next day. So I need to get my act together. Today I'm going to take extra BC ATP. I'm going to take my methylene blue with the caffeine and nicotine. So these things are not substitutes for sleep or for rest, but they are going to get Nurse Tanya through the fair. What else was I going to say about that? Oh, I'm glad that I just did it. Just got out, did the walk. I already feel more alive, more invigorating. I can't say enough for the sun on your skin. I haven't gotten out much this summer. I'm not tan. I have been working indoors, not doing my normal horse riding. So things have just changed a lot for me in the last year. I used to do horse riding lessons. I gave that up to focus on my wellness business. I just wasn't managing both things well anymore. I was not doing justice to either one, kind of half-assing both. So I had to I had to choose. And right now, I choose you. I choose wellness. Do you love that? And I would choose you again. I would choose you every time. So I need to put like a little commercial spot in here. I am at this time, depending on if you're watching this now or next year or whatever, at this time I still have room for one-to-one clients. I live in a small town, so my foot traffic is getting busier, but the population isn't that big, so there's not as many people to call on. I am working on my online coaching, kind of getting some things, programs set up, DIY stuff that can just be evergreen, that you can just watch my videos and check your email and follow the directions. And people who are generally healthy and just want to do a boost your health 4-month deep dive detox and parasite cleanse with Cellcore, I offer that as like a do-it-yourself package, because it really, the company is amazing. They have the right tools. I always recommend, if you do some, I like Paleo Valley, that's what I sell in my store, their mushroom complex and their organ complex and a magnesium, and do that with your parasite cleanse, and then avoid the 7 most deadly inflammatory foods, at least while you're doing the cleanup for those 4 months. Like, you will just elevate yourself to that next level of wellness so much faster. Can you do it all without adding those other things, without changing your diet? You can. You absolutely can. If you're on a budget, you can do it. But I got a little bit sweaty. But changing your diet isn't that expensive. That's actually the cheapest way to do it. If a person wants to throw in some fasting, that's even better, because you're going to stimulate stem cells. You're going to do some autophagy, healing as you go. All those things can be kind of rough, especially if you're totally new to it. If you haven't walked in any of this before, it can be super overwhelming. So with that DIY program, I'm going to give you those tools and those tips, and then you pick and you choose, and you start with one thing or 2 things the first month, and then month 2 you bring those with you. You bring those with to month 2, and then you add on. And we got to start looking at your toxic load. We got to change your products in your house. We got to change the products you're putting on your skin. We got to talk about your teeth and your dental work and your oral hygiene. So each month we layer it in. We work on mental health stuff. We work on emotions. Whether your tool is going for a walk like this, morning meditation, yoga, it doesn't matter to me. It's your jam. You pick. Journaling is an awesome tool, and just positivity. So we're going to let go of the negative. We're going to work on the positive. We're going to work on trapped emotions. I've got an emotional detox scan that would be added. That would be on top of your program. Some people have a hard time getting rid of parasites even in month 2 if their emotions are blocked. So yeah, it can be really unique. You never know who you are or what your program is going to turn out to be. And then in that DIY, I offer a quick consultation. If you're stuck, you can make an appointment with me, like for half an hour. There is a little added fee to it, but I'll help you troubleshoot those things. I'll help you work on those things. A lot of people, like myself, are really enjoying all the free content that creators like myself and other people, I'm going to go train with Barbara O'Neill. So like, she's got great content, all this stuff that we have free access to, all this amazing content. Well, the main trick is doing it and sticking to it. Like, I'm all about stick-to-itiveness, like, because I am always preaching to myself. I have gained and lost the same 20 or 30 pounds probably 4 times in my life. I'm 50 now, and you know how it is, where you feel empowered, you make the program work, because they all work. if you work it. The treadmill in your basement, it works if you get on it. You know, those exercise videos that you bought 10 years ago, they would have worked too if you would have done it for longer than 2 weeks. We have to stick with it, even whether it's exercise, supplements, any of that. You know, like, I myself am guilty of always being in that sore phase because, like, I was doing wall Pilates just like last month. Really, didn't make me sore. My body knew it was doing something, but it wasn't terrible. But you know how that is. You start a workout and you have that little bit of stiff and soreness, and then you do it for a couple weeks and you're kind of feeling good, your energy's back, your clothes kind of fit better, and then something happens. You're gone for the weekend, or company shows up, or your schedule gets interrupted, and then all of a sudden you're not doing it again. So then you have to go around the hill and recommit, and then you're sore again. You're sore all over. So whether it is, you know, financial habits, work habits, goals with your kids, sticking to grounding. Like, my kids never minded being grounded because I forgot 2 days into it. I never stuck to it. So all these things in life where we lack self-discipline, it's a big deal. For me, for females, I don't know about men, but it is such a cycle. And my attitude, my stick-to-itiveness, whether I'm firm about things or whether I'm laxy-daisy, it's a cycle. It all depends on where you're at during the month, like what your give a shit is like. And your hormones, when you have that little bit more testosterone, and during that time, that's when you start new projects. And then you have that drive, and then your testosterone drops off and your estrogen kicks up, and now you don't care. Like, it's just so hard. These hormones are, and a lot of people don't think about it, but if you think about whenever it was that you decided you were gonna, you know, take down a wall in your house or rearrange your closets or whatever, I bet there's a cycle. I bet it happens right around the same time every month. And then, you know, you get that wall down and you're like, I don't feel like doing this anymore. Like, hello, who's done that, right? So it's not that we're ADHD or ADD, or maybe kind of we are. Like, I definitely have some of those qualities, or squirrel, you know, I'm onto something new. But a lot of it also has to do with our hormones. So we have to have a little bit of grace for ourselves. We have to have a little bit of understanding, and get a calendar and track it. So then, you know, when your I'm over this thing kicks in, then you have to work a little bit harder. That's then where you have to initiate that self-discipline and be like, oh no, we're finishing this. We're not going to go around this mountain every 2 weeks, right? Your exercise, that, you know, when you don't feel like you have the energy to work that hard, you really shouldn't be. Lean into stretching, lean into a light walk. So those things are important. When you lose that energy, that's a natural part of your cycle. So don't fight it. Don't be like a slave to it, but don't also let that be your excuse to not do anything. You really have to mentally balance these things. Knowing that the hormones are driving things, you just can't make an excuse. You absolutely, I am not giving anybody permission to make your hormones your excuse to be a bitch, your excuse to be lazy. You know, no, none of that. It is about knowing, and it's about taking control and not letting your hormones control you, right? They don't get to control you.
Here's my shout out to all you DIY folks in the house. My heart is DIY as well. I love to do things myself. And these days in this wellness space, we've got so much information. We've got access to all the cool stuff like castor oil packs, adrenal cocktails, foot soaks, lymph massage, rebounding, grounding, fasting, keto, you name it, we've tried it. We all know what Barbara says. The one thing you don't get as a DIYer is access to professional products. Until now, I have designed a really unique DIY system that gives you access to Cellcore Biosciences. You have not really detoxed or done a parasite cleanse until you've experienced Cellcore's 4-month foundation program. And you won't really know the difference until you really know the difference. Go to my website, awakenwellnessllc.com, and find the DIY tab. Let's get you access.
Oh, hormones. So I got to show you guys this. Let's see. Oh, I don't get to turn my camera around in this on this app. So I'll flip it this way. Hold on. I try not to make you sick. See that little puddle there? That's our nice hay bale stash. And then, oh, hey, these two right here. Where are you guys going? Dogs. I love them. I'm a pet person for sure. But we go on this walk. They live in the country. They can go do whatever they want. They're not confined to the yard, and yet they still just go nuts every morning when they know I'm putting on my shoes, and like they can just tell. I don't have to say anything. They can tell my energy's different or something if I'm going to work or if we're going on a walk. So anyway, they get so excited. And then they get so dirty. They find the puddles. They're indoor-outdoor dogs. So then when they get dirty like that, they get locked on the deck until they dry themselves off and clean themselves up. They go to the groomer like every 3 weeks because, like I say, they're indoor-outdoor dogs. But this nature, we have so much fun. It's really gotten dry here. Well, it's not terrible, but the grasshoppers are terrible. So you can tell as I'm walking, now I'm going back towards my house and into the sun. So I'm really squinting. I have been working on training my eyes to not be handicapped by sunglasses or addicted to sunglasses. I don't know if you've heard that. I can't spout off right now the big words or the science behind it, but the cones in our eyes are directly connected to the pigment in our skin, the melanin in our skin. So when we handicap our eyes with those sunglasses, it changes that communication between the cones in our eyes and the melanin in our skin, or the receptors, or whatever that intricate system is. So they say, not that you won't burn if you're out all day and you don't have sunglasses on, but you're less likely to burn, and you're less likely to burn deep if you don't have sunglasses on, because your eyes are communicating with your skin and protecting it with that melanin. So I find that super interesting. And then they say that if you're super sensitive, like if you just can't take that sun in your eyes, it's a liver issue, like it's a detox issue. So I like to wear a cap a lot, so you at least have that little brow over your eyes. I didn't do that this morning because I did blow dry my hair. I'm not sure why I blow dried my hair. I don't think you're going to be able to tell by the time I get back to the house that I blow dried my hair. But that's another wellness hack. You know, there's so many things that we've done over the generations and generations with technology. And when I was soaking this morning, I was thinking about it, and it's really all of our conveniences that are wrecking our health. You know, humans, whole self-God, everybody, scientists, everybody thinks they're so damn smart, and they're going to come up with something new. And sure, we get symptoms. We don't like symptoms. We don't like fevers. We don't like being in a little bit of pain. We want all that stuff to just go away. But then you're just going to be sick longer, right? The fever is there. That's your body's way of innate intelligence killing whatever is going on in your body, or when you're detoxing, when you get exposed to something, if you believe in viruses, if you don't, I don't really know what the word is. I don't really believe in viruses, but I know we get sick, and like there too. We're not doing a video about the train theory, but what I'm saying is the good Lord designed us with all these protective mechanisms, just like our cows and our horses. We've dirtied them up for sure. We've humanized them. We've brought them into our toxic environment, and we've toxified their environment. But they still are more connected with the Creator. They're more connected with the earth. Yeah, they will eat plants they shouldn't eat that will poison them, but not that often. For the most part, even your flowers and the insects communicate. The Lord designed all this in perfection. And when things like GMO foods first came about, and there's good and there's bad in the world, right? Is there a good cop and a bad cop, or are we made to think that? Anyway, GMO foods was supposed to save the planet and hunger and all that stuff, but what it really did is confuse our genome and really started changing us. Herbs are medicine, meat is food, herbs, plants are medicine. So, it used to be that cattle ate wild hemp, and then we ate their meat, and so our cannabinoid system was satisfied. But then the powers that be decided to eradicate hemp and give it a really bad name. Not that I'm a pot smoker by any means. I'm just saying that man, in all of his wisdom, keeps coming along trying to think that he knows how to do things better than the Creator. And I often tell women, they'll sit down in front of me and complain because they're too fat, or complain because their hormones are this or that, and they're on birth control. So we start that conversation. And for me, I can be a little sassy. I don't know what else to say. And I was there once when I didn't know what I didn't know. And now I'm missing body parts. So that I really didn't know some stuff back then, or I wouldn't be missing body parts. So I don't mean to be a hypocrite, because 50 with gray hair and I'm awakened, there's just stuff that I totally think different about now. So anyway, you're on birth control, you can't seem to lose weight, you're grouchy all the time. Some days you just like to wring your family's necks. Other days you can't live without them. We'll been there. We all know that. So I got to stop for a second, get the sun out of my eyes, and make this point. Again, the moon cycle. Women's cycles. So you get on that birth control, and we're control freaks. We want to control. We want easy. We want to do what we want to do when we want to do it. We want the luxury of not having that messy bleed every month, because we can do it. The men in the white coats gave us the power, gave us the pill, gave us the tools. So the power and the tools are at your fingertips. And, the convenience of having sex when you want and not worried about having more munchkins, or any munchkins, or, just randomly sleeping with who you want. So there's that. And then there's, a lighter flow, or maybe, you just skip that sugar week and you turn it off altogether. Or you get an implant and these annoyances disappear during the month, right? Well, one, your cycle is detoxifying. When you turn off that flow, you're backing up your toxins, right? And you might not think that's a big deal when you're 20 or even 30, but by the time you're here, it's a big deal. If you've done all that and then your cycle really starts to fall apart in your 40s, your hormones are whacked, and you end up with a hysterectomy, and you don't mind it because you're bleeding like a stuck pig, so you think that's a good answer. But the building blocks, like you were setting up this bad path from day one, and even your menstrual products, your feminine hygiene stuff, if you've got period problems at all, those things are a huge part of it. Huge part of it. A lot of people start out as preteens with estrogen issues, and that my friend is a whole different conversation about endocrine disruptors, and even your load from mother to child in the womb, your toxic load. That's kind of a different video. That's kind of a longer thing. But anyway, where I was going with the full moon, women in our cycles, and yep, the men in the white coats gave us the power. They gave us these tools, so we can just ixnay on the bleeding. So think about the moon and the earth and growing and everything, right? So what if these men in the white coats could just magically stop the earth from cycling? What do you think would happen? Like, it would be a catastrophe. Everything would fall out of balance. It would be a complete catastrophe. Now I want you to take that thought of how tragic that would be and apply it to the female cycle. So you cannot jack with that stuff and expect your body to just fall in line and not be different, not be freaked out. Yeah, I know some people go on hormones or birth control because their cycles are so weird, but that my friend is a fixable issue if you've got some self-discipline and if you're willing to eat different, do some things different, and the rest of your life will be different. You shouldn't need those fake hormones. And those fake hormones, you can't just plug that stuff in and not expect in this stage of life or somewhere for that to not just show up as evil, as cancer, or as other issues. Like, you just don't plug in stuff to trick your body and expect things not to spiral bad, out of control somewhere else. Look at these guys. Look at these weeds. So, life cycle. What we do, root causes, what we have control of. We have control of so much more than we think. Like, did you know that, well, I just don't tolerate people saying, well, I have high blood pressure because my grandma did, or I have, type 2 diabetes because it runs in my family. That's bullshit. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that. You have so much more control over you than you realize. Your genetic code, there is a fine, little tiny bit of that is actually not in your control. There's a little bit, but the majority of those genes that get flipped on that cause disease in your body, they got flipped on because of you, because of things that you're putting in your body, toxins, traumas, thoughts, all that negativity, low frequency, bad food, parasites, candida, sugar, high fructose corn syrup, bad oils, all of that stuff matters. Aspartame, chemicals, dyes, food dyes, preservatives, it all matters. And yes, it could be that your gene pool was more fragile than others. That's true. It could be that the cards were stacked against you, but that still doesn't mean that you can't do something about it. That absolutely is no excuse to sit on your ass and just say, poor me, I have MS. Poor me, I have fibromyalgia. Poor me, I have diabetes. That's bull. I call bull on that. You can do something about it. You need the right tools, you need the right motivation, and you gotta call up some self discipline out of the depths of your soul. And then you gotta stick to it. You gotta stick to it. Every day, you gotta stick to it. Me, right here, I am the ultimate hypocrite, right? Total hypocrite. Every day I eat stuff I shouldn't. Every day, every week, I skip a walk when I really had time, but I spent too much time scrolling on social media or whatever else, and then all of a sudden, oh, gotta go. So I get it. I'm human. I am preaching to the choir. I'm going to be your hypocritical health coach, and I'm going to keep talking to you because it helps me. In the long run, it's all about me. Making these videos and talking to you helps me. I am trying to stay accountable. I am. I'm always going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it authentic. And I am never going to claim that I have it all together or that I'm perfect. But as I walk through it and I learn from my mistakes, I'm going to share them with you. So maybe you can avoid my mistakes, or maybe you can identify with my mistakes, and we'll have a virtual friendship because you're like just in alignment of with my failures and hopefully with my successes. My successes right now, I've been working through parasites, detoxing and healing for over a year. I don't have symptoms of fibromyalgia or Hashimoto's at all anymore. In general, my energy is pretty damn stellar. I feel better at 50 than I did at 40. I got a ways to go. Walking this out, you don't have to be perfect. That's where I'm getting at with my whole hypocritical health coach, is I'm just saying, don't try to be perfect, or you'll sit in your recliner, you'll sit on your couch, you'll never buy an organic apple because it's too big. It's too big. I'm telling you, it's not too big. You start somewhere. Start with something manageable, whether it's just the foods, just doing that 7 inflammatory foods. If you want to know what they are, hit me up or go find JJ Virgin. I use her book, The Virgin Diet. Simple, easy read. Start somewhere. But then, okay, you got to get 30 days in, and then you got to find another thing. What else are you going to do? You're going to start with movement. You're going to start with some lymph massage, some tapping, whatever it is. But you got to bring month 1 with you. Like JJ's book, she says 28 days. No, you stay there. You stay there for life. You can move into an 80-20 relationship with those foods when you're where your health needs to be. So there too, hypocrite. I'm not where I need to be, and I 80-20 way too much, way too much. I'm running out of time. I pray for you. I pray for all my clients, and I pray for anybody who this frequency is going out to. You'll find your way. You'll find your health.
Here's my shout out to all you DIY folks in the house. My heart is DIY as well. I love to do things myself. And these days in this wellness space, we've got so much information. We've got access to all the cool stuff like castor oil packs, adrenal cocktails, foot soaks, lymph massage, rebounding, grounding, fasting, keto, you name it, we've tried it. We all know what Barbara says. The one thing you don't get as a DIYer is access to professional products. Until now, I have designed a really unique DIY system that gives you access to Cellcore Biosciences. You have not really detoxed or done a parasite cleanse until you've experienced Cellcore's 4-month foundation program. And you won't really know the difference until you really know the difference. Go to my website, awakenwellnessllc.com, and find the DIY tab. Let's get you access.